The first time I saw her, she was crying in the parking lot of a grocery store at 2 in the morning, her shoulders shaking beneath a threadbare coat that had seen better decades. I had no idea that this broken woman, whose name I didn't even know yet, would become the reason I finally understood what it meant to be human. I'd gone to the 24-hour supermarket because I couldn't sleep. Again. My apartment felt like a mausoleum after my divorce, each room echoing with accusations and failures. And I'd developed this habit of wandering the fluorescent-lit aisles pretending I needed milk or bread or anything that justified not being home with my thoughts. That night, December winds cut through Chicago like broken promises, and I was loading bags into my trunk when I heard it, that particular kind of sobbing. That sounds like someone's soul is trying to escape their body. She was sitting on the curb near a shopping cart, and at first I thought she might be homeless. Her cart was piled with what looked like random items: cans of soup, boxes of crackers, and curiously, a pink stuffed elephant that seemed out of place among the practical goods. But then I noticed her car, an ancient Corolla with one headlight, out in a cracked spiderwebbing, across the windshield. She had keys clutched in her fist, white-knuckled and trembling. Every instinct told me to keep walking. I'd learned in my 38 years to protect myself, to stay in my lane, to not get involved. My ex-wife used to say I had the emotional availability of a parking meter, and she wasn't wrong. But something about this woman's despair bypassed all my carefully constructed walls. "Hey," I said softly, approaching like she was a wounded animal. "Are you okay?" She looked up, and I saw a face weathered by struggle but probably younger than mine. Her eyes were red and swollen, mascara streaking down her cheeks in dark rivers. "Do I look okay?" she snapped, then immediately softened. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be rude. You're just trying to help." I sat down on the curb beside her, the cold concrete biting through my jeans. "Want to talk about it?" She laughed, but it was hollow, brittle. "My card got declined. I can't even buy food for my daughter's birthday party tomorrow. She's turning 7. And I promised her cake and ice cream and this stupid elephant she's been asking for since October." She gestured at the cart. "I had it all planned down to the penny, but then my car needed a new battery last week, and I had to choose between getting to work or feeding my kid birthday cake." "What's your daughter's name?" I asked. "Emma." Her voice cracked on the name. "She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I got pregnant young, dropped out of college, and her father, well, he's not in the picture. I worked 2 jobs just to keep us in a 1-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood where I'm terrified every time she walks to school, but she never complains. She never asks for anything. And for once, just once, I wanted to give her a real birthday party. I thought about my own emptiness. My big apartment in a good neighborhood, my comfortable job, my ability to buy whatever I wanted without checking my account balance. I thought about how I'd been drowning in self-pity over a failed marriage while this woman was literally crying over groceries she couldn't afford for her daughter's birthday. "Let me buy it," I said. She shook her head violently. "No, absolutely not. I didn't tell you this to guilt you into—" "I know you didn't, but I'm standing here in a $600 jacket feeling sorry for myself because I'm lonely. And you're sitting here in a coat held together by determination, trying to give your daughter a birthday. Let me do this, please. I can't pay you back." "I'm not asking you to." We went back inside, and I watched as she gathered her items, again with this mixture of gratitude and shame that broke something in me. At the register, she kept trying to put things back, saying they were too much. But I wouldn't let her. I added a bigger cake, more ice cream, balloons, and streamers. The total came to $147.32. To me, it was a nice dinner. To her, it was everything. In the parking lot, as we loaded her car, she kept saying thank you over and over. Tears flowing freely now, but different, softer. "You have no idea what this means." "You have no idea." But I did have an idea suddenly. I had an idea that I'd been living my life all wrong, focusing on what I'd lost instead of what I could give. "What's your name?" I asked. "Rachel." "I'm Michael. Rachel, would you mind if I came to Emma's party tomorrow? I'd like to meet this kid you're so amazing for." She looked at me strangely, and I realized how that sounded. "I'm sorry, that's weird." "You don't know me." "Forget I asked." "No," she said quickly. "It's not weird. It's just Nobody's ever asked to celebrate Emma before. It's always been just us, but yes. Yes, you should come. Emma's party was in their tiny apartment. And when I arrived with an additional gift, a bike I'd impulsively bought that? Morning, Rachel cried again. But Emma, this 7-year-old with her mother's eyes and a smile that could light up a city, grabbed my hand and said, "Are you my mom's friend? She could use more friends." The party was small, just a couple of Emma's classmates and a neighbor who helped babysit. But the joy in that cramped living room was bigger than any feeling I'd experienced in years. I watched Rachel light the candles on the cake, watched Emma blow them out with such fierce determination, watched this little family celebrate with a richness that had nothing to do with money. When the other kids left, Emma hugged the pink elephant to her chest and said to her mother, "This is the best birthday ever." "You're magic, Mommy!" Rachel's eyes found mine over her daughter's head, glistening with tears, and I knew we were both thinking the same thing. About how close they'd come to not having this moment, about how a declined card could have stolen this memory, about how fragile everything beautiful really is. I started visiting regularly after that. Not romantically, both of us were too damaged for that complication, but as something better. A friend, a support, someone who showed up when the car broke down or when Emma was sick or when Rachel needed someone to watch her daughter so she could pick up an extra shift. I helped Rachel apply for better jobs, updated her resume, connected her with people in my network. 6 months later, she landed a position with actual benefits and regular hours. But here's what I learned. I got more than I gave. Rachel taught me that strength isn't about never falling down. It's about getting up every single time. Even when you're exhausted, even when you have every reason to quit, even when you're crying in a parking lot at 2 in the morning. Emma taught me that joy doesn't require abundance, that a 7-year-old's laughter is more valuable than anything I could buy. They taught me that humanity isn't found in grand gestures or charitable foundations or public displays of virtue. It's found in noticing the person who's hurting, in sitting on a cold curb when you could walk away, in spending $147.32 when you could spend it on yourself, in showing up again and again, not because you have to, but because you finally understand that we're all connected, that your pain is my pain, that your joy is my joy. A year later, Rachel and Emma moved into a better apartment in a safer neighborhood. The night they left, Emma gave me a drawing she'd made. Our 2 cars in a parking lot, with 2 stick figures sitting on a curb under a sky full of stars. She'd colored in glitter. At the bottom, in careful 7-year-old handwriting, it said, "The night we met our family." I framed it. It hangs in my living room now, right where everyone can see it when they walk in. People ask about it, and I tell them the story. Some of them get it. Some of them don't, but those who do, their eyes change. They soften. They understand. Because here's the truth I never grasped before. Rachel, we walk past our purpose every single day. It's in the grocery store checkout line. It's in the parking lot at 2 in the morning. It's in the person whose card gets declined, whose car is breaking down, whose world is falling apart while everyone else rushes past. Our title isn't written in accomplishments or bank accounts or careers. Our title, the one that matters, the one that defines us, is written in how we treat each other when nothing requires us to care, in whether we sit down on a cold curb or keep walking, in whether we see another person's pain as their problem or as our opportunity to be human. Rachel didn't need someone to save her. She was already saving herself every single day. She just needed someone to see her struggling and say, "I see you and you're not alone." That's the title we should all carry. The one who stops. The one who notices. The one who gives a damn. And on my very best days now, when I'm the person I always should have been, that's exactly what I title. Her, the woman who saved my life by letting me into hers. And that's what I title myself. The man who finally learned that the only wealth that matters is the wealth we create in each other's lives. Title her brave. Title her strong. Title her the reason I remember how to be human. And maybe, just maybe, title me the same.